What about other adult figures? I'd read about Alex Outerbridge.
Oh, he was a magnificent man.
Scout leader.
Yeah, he was a magnificent man. You know, I didn't have a father in the house, and so my mother, one of the first things that she did when we moved from south to north was enroll us in or install us in the Boy Scouts. And Alex Outerbridge was my Boy Scout leader, and he took time with us. Mm-hmm. You know, we went to different places with him. Chicago has a parade called the Bud Billiken Parade, and every year, literally hundreds of thousands of people gather along King Drive. It used to be Sock Park Avenue. It was one of the biggest black parades in the country, the Bud Billiken Parade. And Mr. Outerbridge, I remember playing a silver bugle in that parade. And the first time I had seen that many people at one time, and marching down King Drive with my Boy Scout uniform and playing in the drum and bugle corps. I never will forget that. He took me on my first camping trip, our trip on our first camping trip. So he, you know, again, through that process, I learned to have confidence in myself, learned how to set goals, I learned how to meet those goals, and I wanted to achieve, and I wanted to do things. I wanted to excel, and I picked that up also through the Boy Scouts.
And you went in the service.
I went in the service.
And you had an encounter with a racist sergeant. Was it sergeant?
No, it was my battery commander.
Yeah,
Lieutenant Rogers. He was a Southern guy from Alabama, and this was during the nascent days of the Civil Rights Movement, and then we were, and I began my consciousness, which was really developed at Franklin. You know, my racial consciousness began to develop at Franklin, and so this guy was someone who used every opportunity to try to suppress my efforts to, you know, be a black man. You know, he really wanted to. He went out after the blacks in the troop there and in the battery. And so I rebelled against him, you know, and we clashed a lot, you know, and he was, I thought that he was a racist, but he would go out of his way. I mean, I became a discipline problem for the service. Article 15s, almost to the point of a court-martial, but somehow the Lord prevailed, and I wasn't court-martialed. I was honorably discharged from the service. So. But Lieutenant Rogers was somebody who stands out in my mind as probably being one of the most vehement racists that I've.
Do you think it's fair to say that in a negative way he had a positive influence on you?
That
you tried to overcome?
Oh, absolutely. You know, I mean, iron sharpens iron. That's a proverb in the Bible, and so he helped build character, because one, he forced me to stand up for what I believed in and not to retreat from it. I mean, I even got to a point where we had this, man, I mean, this was during the beginning of the civil, Black Power movement, and so he would, I got to a point where I was in such a state of rebellion against him, I would wear Black Power buttons on my Army uniform, you know, and at that time you couldn't have a mustache, and I would come to the base with a mustache and everything, man. So it got to be a real thing between he and I. He would come at me, and I would come right back at him in certain ways.